Yes, people, we're back for another episode of Eyes on the Ball with your favourite boys, Darren, Daniel. Obviously, Josh is not about today, but we're still going to have a very, very good episode all the same.
Yo, I'm tryna get my sterling up in the city, so s'il vous plaît. As soon as my child can walk, it's straight Project Mbappe. But all the verbal, as soon as I hear that whistle, we get straight to the action. Come on lads, where's the passion? Do like Alamat C, we wear headbands for the fashion. If the defenders drop back, we counter and then attack them. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball, yeah. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball, yeah. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball.
Darren, what you saying, bro? I hope you're good. Hope you're blessed. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. Just riding this high. United bringing me joy, man. I'm just grateful. Grateful.
Literally.
What about you? What are you saying?
No, I'm calm still. There's a lot to discuss. I mean, obviously today's game was good. When these guys watch it back, it'll be yesterday's game. But yeah, today's game was good. A lot more could have come out of it. But I mean, there's bigger conversations that I want us to have today. Got obviously some housekeeping. We've got some announcements coming your way. It's all stuff to do with making this podcast better and more enjoyable for you guys watching at home. Appreciate you guys subscribing, doing all that good stuff. Look, on 80 subscribers now. Seems small, but to us it ain't small. So we really appreciate it. And we always, like, fam, you can't even like knock on your humble beginnings. Like 80 is like you're growing in it, and it's just to see the growth. And that's all we can ask for as guys who are providing content for you, man. But nonetheless, as you said, there's content to be provided. And yeah, man, the way I've kind of phrased today with the first topic is I just want to get your thoughts on Maradona, innit? Diego Maradona. Obviously, he was a guy, he sadly passed away. Was a guy who did wonders for the game of football in terms of his talent. Not even looking at the off the field stuff now, just looking at the on the field things. Like
his impact on the game,
bro.
You can't measure it, fam.
It's generational. It's,
like trickle down. It's a trickle down effect. Like exactly. It's a multiplier that you just can't measure, fam. Exactly,
literally, and it's like what he was able to do with the football, with the ball, the game that we all love. What he was able to do on the pitch, like, it's second to none. And that's why when you look at all the tributes and what people are saying about him, it's not because he's dead that people are saying this about him. It's just being highlighted more because of what has happened, because he has sadly passed away. Fam.
And as you said, that's what stands out to me. When you watch the highlights, the moments, the goals, it's like, this guy was doing this back then.
Yeah. In a time where he was probably getting kicked, harassed.
I saw one of the videos. I'm sure you saw the video where he kneed that done in the face when he played for Barca, and that beef was
he was ready, fam. He was ready.
What? Like, when I saw that, I was like, this guy's a different kind of greasy. But yeah, the things that he could do with football when you watch it back, the way he dribbled, because as we say, the things weren't the same back then. The pitch was horrible. The boots were horrible. Guys were trying to dive at you with 2 feet, and Donny was still dribbling, running through players, scoring crazy goals. I love appreciating legends of the game. You know, when it comes to football, basketball, any sport, you have to understand, or not only understand, but appreciate the history of the game, because that's what got us to today's game. You know, the only reason why we see guys like Lionel Messi is because of Diego Maradona. Yeah. The evolution of the game, he is responsible for the evolution of the game, and it's sad to see him gone, but we know that the effect on the game that he had will last forever.
100%. And even to just add a word on him, I think the importance of a player like him is that, of course, yeah, he didn't give birth to the footballers we see today, but at the end of the day, he is who these footballers were watching. Like, for us, we were typing in Ronaldinho, we type in Messi, we type in Cristiano Ronaldo. Who do you think those players were not typing in, but that's who they looked up to, because obviously maybe there wasn't internet back in the day, but that's who they looked up to when they were hearing things on the radio, seeing things on the TV. If you were fortunate to have a TV, that's what they had to aspire to. Bro, we're seeing this guy do a madness on the pitch. Like, I want to do that. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's like, there aren't enough words for me personally to describe a player and a talent like Maradona. Do you get what I'm saying? And people aren't being sympathetic when they say he is one of the best to ever do it. He is genuinely one of the best to ever do it.
Fam, he proved it, fam.
Yeah.
Proved it. The resume speaks for itself.
100%, man. 100%. And all props to him. Our love goes out to his family, of course, and to everyone who was close to him. So, yeah, definitely one who will never be forgotten.
Never.
Let's just put it like that.
And not only him as a figure, but as I said, the football that we see of today, he is one of the key pillars of that. Do you know what I'm saying? As far as dribbling, you know, taking guys on, 1-2, stuff like that. He's just a special player, fam. And as you said, man, shouts out to his family. Hope, you know, we're praying for them. And yeah, as I said, he's a legend of the game, man. You have to appreciate the legend of the game.
Definitely, man.
One of the best to ever touch a football.
Yeah. And yeah, it ties in nicely with the way that I phrased what I wanted to speak about. And it'll be interesting to see what you guys think in the comments if you want to shout us as well on Twitter to have a discussion with us. But it speaks to how the game has evolved. And in today's day and age now, we don't see many players. Not that we don't see a Maradona, but we don't see a 10. The traditional 10 play. No one plays that 10 position anymore, where you've got a maverick who you literally say, a basketball term, my best player, go to work. Just go to, when you get the ball, go to work. Do your thing in it. Do what you.
Ozil, Schneider,
yeah.
Kaká,
you get what I'm saying? Them guys there. And when I look at the players in this league who I would consider 10s, and over the years as well in the Prem, you look at guys like Coutinho, you look at Ozil, like mentioned, James now, Grealish, Foden to an extent, De Bruyne, David Silva, Pogba, guys who I believe were always capable of playing the 10, but because of the demands of the Premier League and how systems and styles have changed, you have to be able to do the defensive work as well as the attacking work. Do you get what I'm saying? And I just wanted your thoughts on why you think the number 10 position died, basically. Like, why are teams no longer having a system built around the talisman, the best player, where you can get so much out of that player and get so much out of your team? Or would you say it's just a football cycle? Like, what do you think? Is it gone for good, football cycle? What do you think?
No, I don't think it's gone for good. I think the cyclical aspect is definitely true, because that's the case with most things in life. You know, there's a cyclical nature, and I think it's definitely reduced. You know, the use of the number 10. A lot of teams like to play now a 4-3-3 or even a 5 at the back. I think the emphasis is more on width now. Do you know what I mean? Rather than having a guy in the hole that can dictate play. A lot of the emphasis now is having, you know, fullbacks or wide men that can create chances for a striker, get crosses in the box and be effective that way. But I think we still have guys like Thomas Muller, who I believe he's one of the, like, he's a throwback player. Do you know what I mean? He can play in a number of positions, but as we see last season, even this season, he's playing number 10, thriving, getting 20 plus assists, still showing that there's still value in that position. But I don't know, man. I think it's managers, as you said, guys like Grealish, Foden, them man there, a lot of them are shifted out wide. I think it's because, as I said, teams like to play more of a 3-man midfield, like to pack the midfield. Also, you know, number 10s aren't known for what they do defensively. You're saying it's hard to ask your talisman to contribute to what you're doing defensively. And do you know what I mean? You don't want 10 guys doing the defensive work. You want your whole team working together offensively and defensively. But as I said, I think it is cyclical to an extent. But then you still have a guy that is a talk of the town right now and can't stop scoring, Bruno Fernandes. He's showing that there's still value in the position. But Yeah, I just think it's a cyclical nature, and I think the main aspect actually is the fact that it's a copycat. You can't say it's a copycat league, but it's a copycat sport. You know what I mean? Liverpool had success with the 4-3-3. Barcelona have had success with the 4-3-3. Real Madrid have had success with the 4-3-3. A lot of teams have, that have been successful at the highest level. They're going with the 4-3-3. So, it trickles down, and that has an effect on the lower levels and the lower teams and stuff like that. So I think that's a lot to do with it. But as I said, I believe it will come back around. Those kind of players, if they're there, you have to get the best out of them, and we're seeing that with the likes of Bruno Fernandes.
I think there's a.
What about you though? I'll pose the same question to you. And how do you feel about why do you feel like it's a dying breed?
No, I think for me, firstly, with what you have said, there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, one thing I definitely agree with is that football is a copycat sport in terms of how the big teams are doing things. Everyone else thinks that is the way to go. Yeah, exactly. And I think if I am to respond to the question and give my take on it, I think that's where the problem is. The fact that it is a copycat sport, the fact that people think that someone else's blueprint adapted to you is necessarily what takes you to the promised land and whatnot. It's a bit like how football has evolved so much that playing out of the back is literally impressed upon all players from academy level. England took it, you get what I'm saying? And they're making sure all their centre-backs can play. And that's why then the art of defending is then, the balance is then shifted kind of thing. So I'm not against the 4-3-3. The 4-3-3 emphasizes hard work in your midfield. If you don't have hard work in your midfield, then you can't play that formation. Just plain and simple.
You also have an extra striker.
Yeah, exactly. But then when I look at, and it's easy because it's the most prevalent example in my head, but when I look at a team like Arsenal now, and they're playing the 4-3-3, and they're literally one of their main or their most blatant source of issues is their lack of creativity coming from the midfield. It makes you wonder, surely you could create a formation which allows you to get creativity onto the pitch and maximizes the creativity within your squad. Even if you're not using Ozil, for example, maybe a situation where Dani Ceballos is closer to the striker and he's offered room to roam and get the ball, feed in. Just get your attacking players closer to the goal and your main player in Aubameyang around the hub of creativity.
Guys that can feed him, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So,
but just to interrupt here, I was speaking to Manny a couple of minutes ago. I was saying the Ozil situation is destroying Arsenal's season, and that documentary is going to be flames. But that's all I have to say regarding that.
Totally agree, man. And I mean, it's good that you mentioned Ozil because obviously I used Arsenal as an example, but he's literally the example of the 10 who has kind of meandered after his first 2 seasons, I would say, at Arsenal, kind of wandered around the club, and you haven't seen his purpose. And it's literally a thing where 10s now have been asked to either adapt or, bro, find your way out of the game kind of thing.
Juan Mata's a good example as well, because what he was doing at Chelsea was ridiculous, bro. Johnny was giving you 20 assists, 15 goals, stuff like that. But then as time passes, he gets shifted out wide. Even if it doesn't really make much sense to play him there, it happens. Just so before you make your next point, I think a lot of managers and teams, they want to prioritize versatility. I don't think they like guys that play only one position. I think that's a lot of the reason why number 10s have been shifted out. Of the system.
But it's like what I said, innit? The main point that I'm making from this and why I believe 10s are no longer in the league or no longer successful and are required to adapt is because of the pressures of being a manager. A manager is so pressured that they will basically take what someone has done and try and do that themselves because they've seen someone else do it, and because it's worked, they've seen, all right, cool, I need to get myself out of the hole I'm in. So let me try to take this and implement this in it. Do you get what I'm saying? I think even the perfect example of it veers away from the 10 just a bit. But when Conte came in and won the league with the 3 at the back, you see teams now across the league were banging out 3 at the back like it was no man's business. Do you get what I'm saying? Everyone was doing it. United were doing it. City, even Pep Guardiola started playing. Do you get what I'm saying? When he first came, so it makes you wonder. Like that's what's happening when managers feel under pressure, when they're seeing that their style might not be working. They look towards styles that are working or have worked for someone else, and they start, regardless of the players they have, the kind of squad they have, they will just do that because they think, cool, it might work for us. That's why, for me, I hope it's cyclical. I don't know if it's cyclical. It could be done forever, because I don't know. With this,
I just feel like
just quickly. With this new age of attacking football, I hope the 10 does come back, because right now we're seeing an age where defending isn't even prioritized like that. So if defending isn't being prioritized, I think you can get the best out of your attackers, any squad. If you've got someone who has the ability to play the 10 and play the 10 well, which is the most important thing, whether they can play the 10 well, then I think it's something that can be introduced back into the game with wingers and your striker.
Exactly. I think it's when a crop of players emerge that are good enough to force a manager to give them a free role, I think that's when, the cyclical aspect will kick in. I think Foden, fam, because City's last game, I believe, to be fair, they blew out Burnley. But in some situations, Pep will try to play Foden on the wing. Yeah, I mean, same with Jack Grealish. I think he's a 10, but he gets shifted out to the wing. I just feel like those guys are game changers. Like, they can be central cogs to a team, but I think when they're thriving, regardless whether they're playing the 10 or not, do you know what I mean? Because even guys like James plays on the wing most of the time. But obviously, what he does is it stays the same. So I feel like, if the production of those guys starts to stale, then I think managers will understand we have to make an adjustment. We have to get the best out of those guys, and the way you do that is giving them a free role. I think the perfect example of that is Bruno. I mean, we don't try to shoehorn Bruno in other positions and stuff like that, and that's very rare. A lot of players, they're asked to play in different positions. Maybe during a game, Bruno might get shifted out to a right wing, something like that, but he'll always bang number 10, and I think it's because he's proved that he's carrying us in that position. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But as I said, with guys like Foden, emerging talents, I believe it will come back around.
I mean, let's see if it does, because like we were saying about Maradona, I mean, I'm not saying that the next Maradona is in England or is in someone's academy and whatnot, but at the end of the day, you don't know what kind of player you could possibly produce if you nurture him and you allow him to continue expressing himself and allow the freedom to do certain things. Look, at the end of the day, of course, different circumstances, and I'm not trying to compare it, but Maradona was allowed to be Maradona because coming up the coaching systems, whatever team he was on, he wasn't being asked to do the defensive work for a team. Like, wasn't asked to track the opposing team's winger. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's just and it just goes to show that these type of players, yes, they are gems and they're very rare, but when they do come along, don't switch them, don't change them, because you could be actually being the enemy of your own progress. Do you get what I'm saying?
But you know what I think another aspect to it is, I feel like there's been this generation, if we actually deep it, obviously a lot has changed in football, fam. We say DM, centre mids, but I feel like centre mids, as far as number 8s in the current generation, that's where a lot of the talent is right now, in terms of, well, not currently, but the past 5-10 years, in terms of Modric, Cruz, Iniesta, Xavi, Pogba, whoever you want to say. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're like playing a different type of lineup. And I think the quality of players that are in the number 8 role has obviously superseded the quality of players in number 10. So the adjustment is made as far as you want to get as many of your best players on the pitch as possible. Boom, let's play one sitter and two attacking midfielders basically.
Yeah, no.
But then again, some people might regard them as 10s anyway. Do you know what I mean? It just depends on the way you see the game.
No, definitely. I think that's an interesting observation as well, because if you look across the league, most teams, if not like probably I'd say 80% of teams in the Premier League exclusively play the 4-3-3. Like one sitter, 2 8s, 2 wingers and a striker. I mean, not too long ago, in another age of Premier League football, they were every team, if not 80%, almost 100% of the teams were playing the 4-4-2. You had a balanced 4 in midfield, and
that's like the foundation of football, fam. 4-4-2.
Yeah, and it just shows how much tactics have evolved and how much managers are thinking way more and thinking outside the box, thinking of new ways, inventive ways to try and beat their opposition.
I think a lot of it also comes down to the talent, though. Do you know what I mean? Where is the talent? And that's where you build your team. If you know, boom, I've got wide men that are super productive, you're gonna set up in a way that you can get the best out of those guys. You just have to adapt to the talent that you have. I
think it's an interesting take. For me, I'm not saying that the 4-2-3-1 is necessarily the formation to go back to, because I do understand that there are a lot of limitations to it. However, I mean, look, when Chelsea won the league under Mourinho, it was Fabregas and Matic playing together. Do you get what I'm saying? And that was a pair that was different in many respects. You had the one cleaner, athletic, did his job, just moved the ball when he won it back, and then you had the deep lying playmaker who was able to spray the ball. He had the freedom of the park to do what he wanted and whatnot. Exactly. And then you have your 10, you have your wingers, and you have your striker. And really and truly, you never needed production from the fullbacks. It was majorly down to the center of the park, and then your attackers in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the attackers in it. But now it's the fullbacks that need to attack. The wingers need to attack. And I think that's where the defending thing comes from and stuff like that. But yeah, aside from that, though, the main point is, for me, I think that a lot of teams have not been able to put together a good plan when they've had the resources to do that. I think they've been the enemy of their own success. They've literally been sabotaging themselves. They've had players to play certain roles, to play certain positions, especially that 10. I'm talking about that 10 role, where there's someone who is ready to take that next step, but they haven't coached him, or they haven't been able to allow him to take that next leap. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's my basic.
What would you say Paul Pogba is the perfect example of that? Because some people say, obviously, his best position is in the 3. But my thing is, like, he's versatile. Like, he's not. You can't tell me Paul Pogba can only play one position.
But then he doesn't have to only play one position. But every player needs consistency in one position, no matter who you are. Like I don't care if even Messi and Ronaldo. Like, when Ronaldo was bagging goals, when he was being a top marksman, of course Ronaldo will still always get goals. But when he was becoming a goal scorer, how did Real Madrid maximize his goals? They consistently played him up front. They said he's going to be the main man now up front, and they just changed.
But that's what I'm saying. We didn't do that with Pogba. As far
exactly,
as
and that's
when
the
he
point.
We didn't have a plan.
No, exactly. That's the point I'm making, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
not just the fact that you didn't have a plan as to where you wanted to play him. That's one thing, not having a plan. But when you have the player now and you look at him every single day in training, you should then be getting an idea of where you want to play him, even if you didn't have a plan before. And if And for me personally, seeing Pogba and how good he is, I think the transition was easily to play him in the number 10. Someone who can score, someone who can... Look, I don't want Pogba anywhere near my goal. Like the turns and all of that, it's all nice and that. But fam, I don't want him losing the ball in my half. Like, do you get what I'm saying? I want him doing damage in the other team's half. And it's like that. Obviously, we're using Pogba as the example. He's the
failed experiment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the perfect, not like a perfect example of how it can go wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's got the skill set of a number 10.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You have to let a guy be himself.
And it's even his skill set. His skill set was even unique. Like, look, he's 6 foot. He has the technical ability of someone with who's 5'5" with a low center of gravity. Like he's that good, and it's actually so mad how we're talking about the dying breed of 10s, and there was literally someone staring smack bang in your face who could play that role if you created a system where he was playing the 10 and then you build around him and then build a team around him, and it could have been very, very successful, but it just didn't happen. And here we are today. Do you get what I'm saying? So, boy, that's not
sad, fam, because do you know what I mean? It feels like he has been. I blame Manchester United, to be honest, because if you, as we said, if you have a guy of that talent, you put him wherever he's at his best and you roll from there. I think the fact that he's been at the club for so long and we still don't know his best position, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. It's as simple as that, man.
No, definitely. But yeah, once again, look, we just got to appreciate Maradona. Maradona was allowed to thrive. He was allowed to be the best he could be. And that led him to being one of the all-time greats in football, if not the greatest. I mean, there's going to be people out there who will say he's the greatest. And who are we to tell someone who watched this man firsthand that he's the greatest of all time? Do you get what I'm saying? If that's what they think, that's what they think.
I'm sure Messi would say he's the greatest.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, man. Like, teams need to rethink and just understand that when you do get these players, these once-in-a-lifetime players, like, make use of it, man. Don't let them go to waste, man. And it's just sad to see. And just a word again on Ozil, it's just sad to see again on a guy like him. Look, I don't care about Arsenal, innit? That's not the team I support. However, as a lover of football, you want to see the best players play football. As much as we hate guys winning, when Ronaldo was at United, yeah, of course, guys wanted their team to win, but there's guys out there who are Ronaldo fans that didn't have to be Man United fans. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, we can appreciate good players, and Ozil is a good player
great player.
He's a great player who needed support, and he just hasn't got that and just hasn't received that, especially for what he has shown. It's not like he hasn't shown it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Bro.
He's literally shown it, and he's not receiving that same support.
Yeah, just to make my last point on it, similar to what you said, it shouldn't be a copycat, approach. That coaches should adjust to your talent. Do you know what I mean? If you have a fullback that is a beast going forward, don't have a problem banging a 5 at the back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Don't be fearful of that, because he's gonna make it worth it. I think the whole the copycat league, because we've seen it with the Warriors. Do you know what I mean? The Rockets tried to copy what the Warriors did in terms of just launching threes. That's not how you be successful. You adjust to your talent, and I think it's sad that United haven't been able to do that with Pogba, man, because the return could have been amazing, but we never got to see it.
Yeah, man. But yeah, let's see what happens, man. Let's hope it's cyclical. Let's hope the next bag of managers experiment and decide, it's time to bring back the 10 position, and we'll see if we were right. If these are the players to take your team forward, innit? But yeah, moving on to let's say something more in our faces, something that you probably for sure. The league and how the league is panning out. We're seeing the big game of the weekend was probably Tottenham-Chelsea. Not probably, it was Tottenham-Chelsea. Obviously, coming from a rival fan, less so about the game, but more so about what it means, in your opinion, for the rest of the league, what was your take in your eyes as a Man United fan? What was your take on Tottenham, Chelsea, top of the league?
I was chuffed. I was chuffed in terms of both of you man dropped points, and points are coming at a premium right now, man, because teams are dropping points like it's nothing, and you know, anyone can beat anyone. So it's like points are back. A draw right now is not a good result. Do you know what I mean? No matter who you're facing. So I feel like it was a sort of blown opportunity from both sides, you know, to make a statement, not only in terms of picking up points, but also in terms of confidence and in terms of you know, just proving to be a contender. But as for Chelsea, we're actually 3 points off them now with a game in hand. So I think that just speaks to the you know, the craziness that is the league, because we were so down about the way we started our season, but now it's like, what? We're 3 points behind Chelsea with a game in hand. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, I think it was a dropped opportunity from the two of you guys, and it's going to be interesting to see how things go moving forward, because I think it's literally about, because Arsenal are rubbish, but I think they're like 15th, and they're only like a couple points behind us. Do you know what I mean? Everything's so packed in the middle right now, so it's like these next few weeks are going to be huge, especially the Christmas period. So,
January is when the league will stretch out, innit? And
do you know what I mean? That's when we'll start seeing the separation. You know? But, but I'm happy you man blew that opportunity to make a statement. Yeah,
I mean, I see it. The way I saw it is, I'm gonna use the Tammy chances. So Tammy had about 3. I'd say that there were more than half chances, but not clear-cut chances, like not open goal misses. But there were 3 very, very inviting openings. And the reason why I'm using that chance to reflect a bigger kind of picture is that, like, titles are won in moments. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's whether the players who are playing take those moments that come to them. It doesn't happen every game. Look, Tammy's played well. He deserves to start. It's not something to overreact as well. It's not something to say, doesn't deserve to be in the team now. Fam, big credit to him for getting in those positions. But now we're getting to a time now where, as your team matures, it's not good enough to just be in the position. Getting to the position is one thing, but finishing the chance is another. And in the grand scheme of things, again, it's a bit like what Lampard said. It's hard to judge how bad a point this is. Like, I don't want to. People are saying like, and it's good that you said it, because it just shows perspective, depending on who you are, what people think. You said it's a point that, like, it's 2 points dropped for the big teams, especially because Liverpool dropped points as well. Arsenal dropped points. Most of the big teams dropped points. But then for another fan, it's like, this is definitely a big point. Like, in a big game, you don't want to lose. You get a point.
Mourinho saw it that way, from when you bring on Ben Davies to close out the game.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's literally down to perspective. And for me personally, the reason why I think we might look back, not to say that this Tottenham game is going to be the reason why we win or lose the league, but when we look back on it, for me personally, the reason why we won't win the league is because I just don't think we're ready. As Chelsea, we're not ready yet, because I just think sometimes in the big moments we let ourselves down. Not to say that. Follow up,
just to ask a question. Olivier Giroud, do you feel like he should be starting over Tammy Abraham? Because when you speak about we're not ready, as you said, you're not ready. Giroud is a guy that's done it at the biggest stage, World Cup finals. He's been there, done that. Do you feel like he could be a guy that, if he gets more of a role, you be more likely to compete for the league?
I don't know.
He saved your season last season as well.
Yeah, but I don't know though. I don't think so. I think it's easy to say, bringing in Giroud is the answer. But like, it's not like this is not the first time we've seen Giroud be a very good substitute. Like, when he's been asked to start, like, ask the Arsenal fans, they always say Giroud is the reason why we didn't win the league. Whether that's true or not, like, he did miss chances. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not like Giroud, when he comes in, won't miss chances. I'm just saying, I don't think.
They wish they had Giroud now, boy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even Giroud in that team probably wouldn't score a lot of goals. Do you get what I'm saying? But for me personally, it's not necessarily switching the personnel. It's not the personnel. That's not the reason why I think we might not win the league. I think we can do it, but if someone was to put a gun to my head and was to say, are Chelsea going to win the league? I'll say no. And the reason why I'll say no is because I just think sometimes as a squad, it's not even about adding new players. Sometimes you just need that year to mature and just to become a better unit as a team. Just
and chemistry as well.
Yeah. Just chemistry. Like, yeah, we've been winning games, but you could tell by the passiveness and the cautiousness and approach that there was still that just a tad bit of doubt there. And that bit of doubt is what separates the champions from the guys who finish second or third. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what it literally comes down to. Like, for example, Werner who was quiet in the game, who only had one real chance of note, which was offside, but he finished that chance. That's what I wanted from Tammy. I wanted him to just finish a chance. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and this is what we were saying. Like, Werner's the type of player who works on moments. Once he gets his chance, like he's just a goal scorer. He doesn't really add to the general play, but if you give him a chance, he normally finishes it. Obviously, yeah, we've been talking about him missing chances. We had a conversation about that, but I'm telling you, like, for free, like, if this guy is producing when he's not even in form, what's going to happen when he's in form? Like, it's going to be deadly. Do you get what I'm saying? And it could be a thing where he becomes deadly when the team matures. And that's fine with me. Like, I don't think there's a rush. On another podcast, I did say this is the season to win the league for whoever wants it, whoever can put up a run of games. But at the same time,
I think that's still true, though.
It is. It definitely is. It definitely is. Even for United, like, even United the United fan will say, if you tell them, "All right, can you win the league?" They'll say no as well. But at the end of the day, look, I can't say for sure Liverpool or City will win it. I don't know that. I don't.
Crazier things have happened, man.
Yeah, I'm saying. So yeah, man. That's literally me on the idea of the points thing. It's like what I said with the Man United game when Chelsea played United. Building blocks, man. That's the most important thing in any side. Look, everyone's so quick to focus on the fact that the points were dropped, but look, one big thing, and Tottenham can even like marvel at this as well, bro. Keeping clean sheets. It's not easy in this day and age to keep clean sheets. I keep saying it. To keep your defense solid, to keep them tight, to get them making clearances, to get them to make clearances, to get them to not make mistakes. Look, how many times have we said, it wasn't the manager's fault, it was individual errors? Fam, we want to cut that out. And how do you cut that out? Getting confidence in your back line. And look, Mendy has only played 6 games and has 5 clean sheets. He's got the most clean sheets in the league right now. And I think he's a real challenger, or someone who can actually, one thing I can say for certain is Mendy can get the Golden Glove. And if he does, by the end of the season, I'll be calling him, top 3 keepers in the league. 1,000%, if not top 2, because I think Edison has definitely regressed. Do you get what I'm saying? So, like, for me,
no, you got to stick to the that's what has worked for you, man. And that keeping clean sheets has been a blueprint for you to concede, to be successful. Sorry,
and keeping clean sheets is what wins you leagues. Ask Mourinho if all he thinks, and especially this is what I keep saying, especially in today's day and age where goals are literally flying in left, right, and centre. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah.
Well, you spoke on building blocks. Listen, we're building some blocks over in Manchester, man. At least the red side. No, Manchester's red. But listen, that's 4 wins on the spin for us. We've got PSG coming up. I just want to give a shout out to Oli, man. I've seen a lot of people saying, we were trash in the first half. I disagree. I think it's we made, as you said, football's about moments, and we made mistakes in big moments of the game. We conceded the corner. On the corner, the zonal thing I do not believe in. I'm not believing in zonal marking. You got Harry Maguire. We bought him to be, a beast in the air, and he's marking nobody. It doesn't make sense. We got Rashford and Telles on the front post when you've got man like Bednarek and Vestergaard eating over them, man. So the zonal thing needs to go. But as I said, I believe we played good football, mostly in the first 20 minutes, half an hour. We were pressing up high. We were winning. We were beating them at their own game. We weren't allowing them to press us against our defense. We were winning the ball back high up the pitch. We weren't creating a boatload of chances, but we had most of the ball, and we were playing good football for once. Donny van der Beek, I believe, is a revelation. Like, he needs to be starting every week for me. I compared him to Carrick. We haven't had a guy like that since Carrick. A guy that, firstly, it's just the basics. Forward passing. It's simple, but it allows the guys in front of you to have a platform to go and succeed. Bruno doesn't have to be, breaking the arm and a leg just to put a striker in. He's running at the defense. It could be one pass, something simple to create a chance. I think Van der Beek is key moving forward, man. He complements Bruno for me because he's more of a conservative midfielder, whereas we know Bruno has no fear. He goes for anything. But
I think what's important is that, and it links kind of to the theme of what we've been talking about. I've always said, look, I'm in favour of chance creation over ball retention every day of the week, innit? And that's what Bruno is. I don't care if my star man has a poor game, if he's still able to produce numbers and win me games. Look, everyone's going to say Cavani was the main man, but nah, Bruno was the main man again for me. And that's, look, anyone, you could disagree with me, that's fine. And of course, you're there to finish, and that's fine. But how I saw the game, look, Cavani don't get those chances if Bruno is not in that team. And that's how I see it, plain and simple. And why Bruno is so good at what he does is because even when he is playing poor, he is still attempting. He is still trying to create chances. Like, creating chances is probably one of the hardest things to do in football. And that's what Bruno does. Like it's water.
To counter your point, and not to counter, just to touch on what you said. I just feel like, because I don't like getting bunched in with the people that are like hating on Bruno and stuff like that. I'm just a guy that knows what he's capable of, and when he's making silly mistakes, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, all hell Bruno," because he gets me a goal or assist. I understand and I appreciate the value of those goals and assists, but at the same time, they're not mutually exclusive. The two things you said: ball retention and chance creation. They actually go hand in hand. That's why I'm saying a guy like Donny van der Beek needs to play, because he gives you the ball retention. Bruno gives you the chance creation. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. They actually go hand in hand. And I'm trying to think of the other point you made that I wanted to cover. That Bruno being the main man, I have to disagree. It was that game had Cavani written all over it. And you said Cavani don't get the chance if not for Bruno. The first goal that actually got us back into the game, Cavani gave the cross to Bruno. Do you get what I mean? I love Cavani, man, but obviously based on this game.
But
he gave the cross to Bruno.
It wasn't a cross of this cross has split open the defense. There was still bodies in front of Bruno. Do you get what I'm saying? And then,
but the issue is how many guys in our team make that pass.
Oh, come on, man. I disagree. Bruno can make that pass. Pogba can make that pass. Van der Beek
but Bruno's not going to be out on the right feeding
on a counter attack. He could be, because that cross wasn't
here and there.
That cross wasn't a whip in. It was more of a chipped in cross. Yeah, to feet. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
All your midfielders can make that pass. As in
but not a lot of our midfielders will find in wide areas making that pass. And it was also a one-on-one situation most of the time.
Exactly.
Try and do something else rather than putting the ball into the box.
Look, again, we're gonna.
I just think what Cavani brings, no one else brings. Like, he knows what the kind of ball that he would want if he was. That's why Lukaku was such a good crosser. Like, that was one of the things that he was actually really good at, and I was like, how does that even make sense? But really and truly, he knows the kind of delivery that he would want. And that's why he's able to.
But the reason why I say Bruno for me is because, look, a striker like Cavani doesn't get goals without a Bruno. Just look at Cavani's track record and the teams he's played on. He's always had a guy like that who can provide service for him. Cavani feeds off of service. The reason why Cavani hasn't scored, or this is the first time we've seen, Cavani has arrived to the league, is because he hadn't been provided with the right service. It's no coincidence that the most recent goal Cavani has scored in the Premier League was an assist from Bruno. Cavani feeds off of service.
Bruno had the cross for the first Cavani's first.
Exactly, goal. And even if you want to say that the cross was a shot, bro, it's that like directness. He's always got an eye for goal, bro. Even attempting chips when the keeper's off the line, it's only clever players, intelligent players that do that. Look, I understand.
Bro, you know that is a lot of that's like a divide in
and
philosophy,
no, of course,
because a lot of people would say they hate the fact that Bruno done that, but me, I actually like that.
But even on the like, for being honest, when we look at Twitter, like a lot of fans are hating on what Bruno is doing, but like I've told you time and time again, like maybe I don't want to be too quick to say this and too rash to say this, but like I'm leaning more and more towards Bruno every day than I am towards KDB, and it's just because I just think that what Bruno provides, what he's able to do, like when there's a player who, just like how Hazard was, but when a player can be dropped literally on every single team in the league, and literally in an instant, I know he's going to improve that team. That's a player I want on my team. Game changers, man. Those are the hardest players to come by in this.
But we say that about KDB. Though. KDB goes anywhere in the planet and he makes that team a better team.
Of course he does, but I don't think KDB has the same ability to carry a team. I think KDB is the better player overall because of body of work and stuff like that. Bruno still has a long way to go. But look, Bruno is getting assists and he's scoring goals as well. And I think Bruno has the capacity to be better, or be at least that number 1, number 2 spot in the league in terms of the best players. And it just depends on whether United are able to provide a system, provide the support around them. But even away from the game, like my point about Bruno is not just about the Southampton game. Time and time again, what Bruno does is that he is a unique player in the fact that he is producing so much numbers, but even with that attacking ability, and like we were talking about with the 10s, he's a 10 who actually likes to defend as well. He runs, he chases, he works hard, he presses.
He
does a lot of off the ball work, like, and that is so important. And that's why I say when or if Bruno gets injured, you will see the biggest difference in any single individual. Forget United, we'll see the biggest difference in a player leaving any single team. It like maybe as big as Van Dijk not being a part of, even Van Dijk not being a part of Liverpool. I think Liverpool are still capable of winning games easily. Bruno leaving,
but does that speak more to how good Bruno is or how bad Oli is? The fact that he has to rely on a guy.
I mean, again, you can't look at the manager, just the manager, when it comes to construction of players. Look, at the end of the day, it's still
construction of the team, though. We're talking about team, not.
Construction of the team. You can't just say it's Ollie's fault. I understand. Look, I'm not gonna get involved in whose fault it is per se, because I can understand the frustrations towards Ollie because he has bugged out with certain decisions. So yeah, if you want to say he takes 70% of the blame, that's fine. But of course, the players have a major responsibility to do with the players, Ed Woodward, the board, for the players they've provided. Do you get what I'm saying? They have to take responsibility. And at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with your team being carried. Of course, you don't want that, because if that guy
gets injured, bro, that's the whole point. There is something.
Do you know what? There is.
Exactly. When you have a guy like that get injured, or when he has an off day, the whole team is fumbling. Like they can't operate, and that's where I believe, you know, we Bruno deserves all the credit that he gets, but we can't say we're better off him carrying us than us having like a well-oiled machine. That's for me why I edge towards De Bruyne as well, because he's like the key cog in a well-oiled machine. It feels like Bruno's like the diamond in a well-oiled machine.
I don't know. I don't know about that, man. I don't know if KDB is not in City, they can't win a game. They can't win games. Do you get what I'm saying? I think they can.
Oh, they can. But that speaks to Pep though, not to De Bruyne. Do you know what I'm saying?
If you put KDB on Man United and put Bruno in Man City, do you think KDB does what Bruno is doing? Same production?
No, because he's not that type of player. He's not that type of player.
But that's exactly my point, because they're playing in the same position right now.
But that's what I said. It just depends on what you value in it, because it's hard to project what Bruno would bring to you. I mean, KDB would bring to United, but
no. But that's why we have these.
He's definitely more careful with the ball. He doesn't waste possession the way Bruno does. I think he makes his teammates better more so than Bruno. And I just feel like as far as our approach play, as I always say, throughout a 90-minute game, regardless of the moments, throughout a 90-minute game, De Bruyne brings more. But as I said, Bruno, as you said, moments is like probably the biggest aspect of football. And Bruno, he knows how to have key moments. And you have to give him credit because
and that's where my point comes in, that then, and this is where then I can then start talking about Oli. Look, if you bring in a manager who can rein in Bruno just a tad and say, I want you to maximize your chance creation, where instead of pulling off 3 out of 6 chances, you're pulling off 5 out of 6 chances. And the reason why you're doing that is because you're making the killer pass in a better situation than just forcing it. And that comes down to squad construction and all of that. Then boy, you've got a player on your hands and you've got a scary.
I agree, but then we don't know. That's what I'm saying. It could also work in the opposite direction, to where when you ask him to be more role specific, it might affect his production. Do you get what I mean? His production might go down because he doesn't have the free reign that he has under Oli. It just depends on the way you perceive it. No, but listen, all the Bruno slander, for me, it just shows that people don't know ball, man. Like, you can't talk shit about Bruno. Like, the shit that people talk about him, it don't make sense. You can point out his flaws. There's no flawless player. Do you know what I mean? You can point out, the things that he can improve on. But when people try and, take the piss and like not understand the actual value that he brings, you just sound stupid, to be honest. Yeah, you just sound stupid.
100%. But boy, what have you got? Anything else to add? Do you have anything?
I didn't, just to make my round up on Oli in it. I feel like he got the formation right, he got the lineup right. Only thing is, obviously, I think Cavani should have started over Greenwood, but I can understand the logic with that. But I just want to see Oli develop moving forward, fam. I don't believe in him because he hasn't shown me enough. However, that doesn't rule out the possibility that he can improve and be successful with Manchester United. I want him to be successful at the club. We've got 4 wins on the spin now. I don't think Oli's ever had 3 wins on the spin in the league. So this is the first time he's ever had 3 wins on the spin. If he can beat West Ham, listen, we can kick on. I want Manchester United to be successful.
So now, if to wrap it up, if you're ranking Arteta, Oli, and Lampard, what are your current rankings right now as managers?
It's a good question. I think it's a good question. I have to go Arteta at the bottom. I have to go Arteta at the bottom. He's at rock bottom right now.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not doing that.
We're gonna be doing an Arsenal Tottenham preview this week, and it'll be a good one.
It'll get touched on.
A good one.
But I'd say Oli Lamps. Lamps has shown you man have the best defensive record in the league. That just shows he knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? He's building blocks. The funny thing is, we had such an improved defense last season, but we took steps back this season. Do you know what I mean? We need to see consistent progress, and Lamps has been consistently improving, so got to give him the edge. How would you rank them? Same?
Yeah, Lamps, Oli, Arteta, because at least with Oli, I mean, people say it's vibes, but I mean, his vibes brings wins, innit? Right now,
especially in big games,
Arteta's trying to buy a win. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, look, they
can't buy a win.
They scored and still lost. They haven't been scoring. Aubameyang don't get.
And it was a centre back that scored as well.
It was from a corner. Yeah. So, bro, yeah. I mean, Arsenal is something I didn't want to touch on them in this specific pod, but it's something that during this week, as we lead up to the North London derby, we'll definitely discuss it and break it down with a couple of the guys we bring on. But yeah, man, that's that. Eyes on the Ball. Make sure you follow us on Eyes on the Ball TV on all our platforms, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on the page.
Hit the bell button on all of them beautiful things there.
You know what I'm saying? So do all of that good stuff for us. It really helps us a lot. I can't reiterate how much it is important to us and just how we monitor what we need to talk about and what we don't need to talk about for the guys who watch us. But yeah,
appreciate I hope you ones, man.
No, 100%, man. And we see all you people who are still listening to the audio ones. Like, we can see that some people aren't only on the YouTube thing. So, yeah, man, we keep bringing content for you, man. Make sure to... I was going to say something. Oh, yeah. Look forward. You're going to look forward to a lot of things that are going to be coming out this week. There's a lot of content that we've got for you, man. Yeah, man, I hope you like the episode centered around the 10s or the death of the 10s as we remember one of the greatest 10s of our lifetime, really. Of all time, yeah. So
probably D, actually. It depends.
Is up there?
Do we regard Messi as a 10?
Yeah, I think he's in. Yeah, I think Messi's a 10. I believe Messi's a 10. Look.
But he's the baba to Messi.
Yeah, I mean, Messi, Maradona, Ronaldo, Pele, of course everyone has a time, and if everyone's still alive to discuss these things, it's an look, football is I think much more different to basketball in the sense that I personally think that
it's much more personal.
Yeah, it's basketball, they like to make it more personal than it actually is. No, they like to make it more personal than it actually is. I watched this guy, so this guy's the best. When really and truly, we've seen the film. We can kind of make a good judgment as to who the GOAT is in basketball. We can make a better judgment of it. Of course, it is personal. Of course, it is. I'm not trying to take it away from anyone's experiences in that. But I think in football, there's a wide array of players. Like, do you value goal scoring? Because there's some people who still say R9 was the GOAT because of the output, and if he didn't get injured, like, that's certified GOAT. So I'm calling it. You get what I'm saying? Crazy. So it's all personable. Zidane doesn't have the stats, but for some people, he is the best to touch the game of football. Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, and there's even some. I mean,
even Iniesta, bro. Iniesta for me is one of the greatest of all time, and his stats don't say much at all.
Exactly. So it's just that's
depends on what you value.
Yeah, exactly. And where stats maybe aren't the defining thing in basketball, but they're very, very important and can tell you how good a player is. Stats don't necessarily tell you how good a player is in football, and that's one thing to definitely remember. But that's how we'll sign out. As on the ball, we out.